Hey everyone, I'm Heather Thacker, developer advocate at Gatling, and today I'm going to show you our AI extensions, a set of tools that brings your Gatling Enterprise account directly into your IDE so you can deploy and run load tests without leaving your editor. These AI extensions include an MCP server and a set of skills packaged as a plugin. We'll use these with Claude today, but every component can be used manually in any LLM client that supports MCP or skills. These tools allow our users to build faster by bootstrapping a project, updating configuration, detecting existing projects, converting scripts, and deploying and running tests straight from your IDE. So let's have a look now. Before the demo, let me explain the two pieces. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's a lightweight bridge that connects your AI assistant to Gatling Enterprise. So when you tell your AI agent to do something like list all my tests, the agent calls the MCP server, which queries the Gatling Enterprise API and returns the data. So you may be asking if your data leaves your machine. No, the MCP server runs locally via standard input-output, so all communication stays between your machine and your Gatling Enterprise account directly. Nothing is routed through a third party. So the MCP server, it works directly with any MCP-compatible client like Claude Code, Claude Desktop, Cursor, Windsurf, or VS Code with Copilot. The skills are packaged as a Claude Code plugin today and can be adapted for other agents. So what are skills? Skills are instruction sets for Claude Code designed to guide your AI agent through specific multi-step tasks with built-in checks, correct parameters, and real data from Gatling Enterprise. So if we bring it all together, the MCP server fetches information from Gatling Enterprise and the skills tell the agent what to do with it. The skills contain the exact commands, correct parameter names, and the right sequence of steps so that this eliminates the back and forth trial and error that makes AI agents unreliable for technical workflows. So together they make deployment as simple as a conversation. To get started, you need two things: a Gatling Enterprise account, which you can start a free trial today, and an API token with the configure role, which you generate from the API tokens page in the Gatling Enterprise UI. Set that token as an environment variable, Gatling Enterprise API token. And then the easiest way to install is the Claude plugin, which I'll show you in a minute, but you can also set it up manually. So if you're using the Claude CLI, it's a single Claude MCP add command. And then for Claude Desktop, you add a server entry to your Claude Desktop config.json. And then for VS Code, it's the same idea. In your .vscode/mcp.json file, add a server entry. And NPX and Docker are both supported. Learn more about setting up in our docs, and essentially all these configs point to the same MCP server. You're just telling your client where to find it. So let me show you an easy route installing through the plugin system in VS Code. So here I am, VS Code with Claude, and let me just start it up. So to install the Gatling AI extensions, it's just two commands. First, I add the marketplace with plugin marketplace add Gatling /Gatling AI /extensions. And that tells Claude where to find the plugin. And then I add plugin install Gatling at Gatling AI extensions to install it itself. So now all the skills are available, and let me just reload Claude and we'll be ready to go. So let's see the MCP server in action. It exposes 4 read-only tools that give your AI agent visibility into the Gatling Enterprise account. So we'll walk through each one. First one is list my teams. Gatling Enterprise. So I'm asking Claude to list the teams, and behind the scenes, it calls the MCP server, which queries the Gatling Enterprise API and returns the results. You can see here I have 6 teams: performance team, QA, a few others, and each one comes back with credit quotas and usage. Second one is the load generator locations that are available. These are the regions where Gatling Enterprise can spin up load generators. So I have 10 managed locations across 3 continents: Hong Kong, Tokyo, Mumbai, Sydney, Paris, Dublin, London, and 3 in the US. There's also a private location for build from source demos. So when we get to the configuration skill, the agent will let me pick from this list. The third prompt that we'll have is list my deployed packages. Packages are the simulation artifacts uploaded to Gatling Enterprise. And let's see what we have here. So we have quite a few. You can see Java and JavaScript packages across different teams. There's a Maven plugin demo, ecom demo in TypeScript and Java, and a few others. And each one shows the package format, JVM or JS, and which team it belongs to. Last prompt we'll look at is show me all my tests. So tests, also called simulations, this is what you can actually run. And we have 17 different tests here, everything from basic simulation and shopping cart simulation to load testing patterns like soak test, stress test, capacity, spike. You can also see different source types: packaged, no code, built from sources. So the MCP server returns all of them regardless of how they were created. So that's the MCP server, 4 tools, read-only, pulling live data from a Gatling Enterprise accounts. And this is the foundation the skills are built on, with the real IDs, real team names, real locations. So there's no guessing and no copy pasting from the UI, just quicker building and faster testing. Now let's move to the skills. If the MCP server is the eyes giving your agent visibility into Gatling Enterprise, then the skills are the hands. They're structured instructions that guide the agent through complete workflows step by step using the right commands and the right parameters. Right now we have 4 skills, and I'll demo each one, but we're also adding onto these all the time. So the first one is to create a brand new Gatling project from scratch. I'm starting with an empty folder, nothing to see here. And I will start up Claude. Yes, I trust this folder. And then ask it to bootstrap Gatling project with Java and Maven. So it identified the skill, Gatling Bootstrap project. It loaded it, and now it's asking a few questions to get this going. You could also say Kotlin, Scala, or JavaScript as far as a project, and swap Maven for Gradle or SBT. So now after a few seconds, we can see that the skill has scaffolded the entire project. So if we look within the file tree, we've got the POM XML with the Gatling Maven plugin already configured. And then also the source folder with Java and a basic simulation to start editing. So this is essentially real runnable code, and it would normally take a few minutes of copying from docs or starter templates, all done with one command. So the second skill that we're going to demonstrate is configuration as code. So if we look at the project, we have a Gatling package config file here, but it's empty. So this is where the MCP server and skills kind of come together. So the hardest part sometimes of getting a test on the Gatling Enterprise can be the config file with wrong IDs, missing location, silent typos. It's kind of tedious sometimes to get this right manually, so the skill can handle it end to end. So I'll ask it to generate the Gatling Enterprise package configuration for this project. So the skill loads, Gatling configuration is code, and the first thing that it will do is check for that existing config file. So there's not one, so it's gonna start fresh, and it's calling the MCP server to pull my live data, my teams, locations, packages, and tests. It's asking some different questions here to get that set. I'll pick my simulation class. It'll ask me a few basic questions to configure this file. So I'll do the performance team and the Europe Paris location. And then I'll use an error ratio for stop criteria and ramp up, ramp down of 0 seconds. So reviewing and submitting my answers for this config file. And as it writes the configuration file, we'll see that we have a production ready file with team ID, location IDs, and we have a wait set here for that location, ramp up, ramp down, some stop criteria, and a little more about the simulations. So every ID in this file came from the MCP server querying my real Gatling Enterprise account. So no copy pasting UUIDs from the UI and no guessing here. So this is the package descriptor ready for CI built from the actual account data. And that's the skill in the MCP server working in sync. So now that the config is ready, let's deploy and run the tests with the build tools. So here I'll prompt it to deploy the project to Gatling Enterprise and start a test run. So the agent loads the build tool skills, Gatling build tools, and starts working through the steps. First, we'll detect the build tool and then see the POM XML file in Maven, and it checks that the API token is set and it has the right permissions. And it's now running the deploy command. You can see it deploying and it's running live. So now we're over in Gatling Enterprise and you can see it right here. The simulation is active and running. Everything you'd normally do through the UI or by memorizing those CLI commands, detecting the build tool, deploying the package, updating the config, and starting the test are all done by the AI agent in a single conversation. So we have the smoke test up and running and we're ready to add to our tests. The final skill we'll look at is converting an Apache JMeter test plan to Gatling. So if you're migrating from JMeter, this saves hours of manual translation. So I've got a JMeter test plan here, and let me ask Claude to convert it. So I've asked Claude to convert the JMeter test plan to Gatling, and it's loaded the skill, Gatling convert from JMeter, and also detected the existing Gatling project with the skill detecting project. And this one will read the JMeter XML, the thread groups, the HTTP samplers, assertions, and timers, and translates them into an idiomatic Gatling simulation. So while we wait for the result, we will soon see the HTTP request converted, the injection profile mirroring the original thread group configuration, and the structure following Gatling conventions. We'll want to review and fine tune it after it's done, but the heavy lifting will be done by this skill. So instead of rewriting the whole thing from scratch, you're starting from a working translation. We will explore the JMeter converter more in the next video, so stay tuned for that one. And while it's generating this conversion, let's recap what we've done so far. So starting from nothing, and in one session, we were able to scaffold a project, generate a production-ready config file with real IDs from Gatling Enterprise accounts, deploy and run that simulation, and also convert a JMeter test plan, all from the editor. So let's see here. It's verifying the conversion. And we can find it here. All right. Look at that. So that's the Gatling AI extensions. We have an MCP server that connects your AI agent to Gatling Enterprise and skills that guide it through real workflows, so there's no guesswork. We're adding new skills and capabilities constantly, so this is really just the beginning. You can install the plugin today with 2 commands in Claude Code, and head over to the docs for more setup instructions, and also start your free trial today of Gatling Enterprise if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.